Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, with the Terran who represents the rest of us. In the red, it's the People's Terran. It's Kier. Up against the Protoss, with some of the most interesting ideas in the game right now. Not a dream, not even hallucination. It's a nightmare. A best of 3 TVP, starting things off on Site Delta. And honestly, I'm looking closer at Nightmare right now. But either way, I think these two always bring good games for the fans. And if that's something you want to see, well, I ask one thing for me to see, which is one more like and subscribe if you haven't made there yet. And Jimmy, what are we? 1,304 likes on this series, on this cast. And I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Stargate in 2024. Is that the year? Yeah. I don't... 2024. As a Reaper comes across the map. Stargate has kind of gone by the wayside. It's not completely been shoved out of the meta. And since the Cyclone has been toned down just a little bit, it has become a little more common, as the Oracle can survive it. But the Stargate is definitely a more precision tool than even the Blink Stalkers or the Robo. And speaking of the devil, I mean the Cyclone. Well, we've got one on the way, as Cure is your straight-laced macro Terran. In fact, I think Cure, of all people, is the one you can take the builds, you can copy-paste, throw them on the ladder, well, as best you can, and have the most success, compared to someone like Beyond, or Maru, or Clown. Cure, well, there's a reason he's the People's Terran. Good, and, well, not always as good. But a couple of depths, and Phoenix is on the way. It's not going to be Oracle first, but the Phoenix is in order to keep control of the situation, at least for as long as he can. Cure, with one Cyclone going on 2. I'm going to need 2 in order to combat the... Wait, what? No, I need to see. Did he do the thing? Cure? Did he do... Why do we even build Reaper walls? Am I a joke to you? The Terrans are the only one who can laugh. They're the only ones with mouths. And that Reaper used it to scream just before the Adept came in, or 3 Adepts came in and slaughtered it. Of course, that gives away the fact that 3 Adepts are still chilling at home and aren't coming across the map right now, so that gives Kira a little bit more of a sense of security. He gets in, and there wasn't really anything else to see, though he didn't have the opportunity to confirm that. I'm just still annoyed about the ineffectiveness of the Reaper wall. It seems so simple. I wonder, I've never seen a player, not even Maru, with over 50% consistency actually do the jump over the Reaper wall. It seems to be like you pray to the server gods and maybe the Reaper goes over the top. Something to do with unit collision and who has, and I quote, sick hops. But Kira's able to get over there, doesn't make much use of it, besides making me somewhat upset. Well, that's not hard to do. Not much of it. Don't write home about it. Robo Bay on the way, as Nightmare going for that heavy mech toss style. He's actually got a bunch of Adepts underneath. So going for the cheapest option for boxing out early Marines and Mines. Zealots aren't going to get the job done, as without charge, they're, well, they run at them with laser swords, and they don't deflect the bullets back at them with their plot devices, so Adepts are probably the best option for something of a meat shield that doesn't cause too much Vespene gas. And the Cyclone zoning out the Phoenixes for now, and the Phoenix is kind of a soft counter to any sort of early drops. Cure, knowing that, is going to head the other direction. He's already loaded up 2 of them. Nightmare has a good idea of what Cure's trying to do, but he doesn't know exactly when or where the medevacs are coming. Well, he knows they're coming out of the starport, but you can't just sit over the starport while the Cyclones have something to say about it. I'll see if Nightmare pulls back in time to deal with it. He can always recall, but that, of course, gives away that tool as well. It's quite a long cooldown. Spylon's on the way. Might be able to intercept 1 Marine. A conspicuous lack of medevacs here, though. The Spylon is not quite done yet, and that means Cure doesn't actually have vision. And the medevacs are coming in. Immediate recall on the Phoenixes. Is it enough? The Widow Mine can burrow. He picks it up, though. Slices through. Where are the Adepts in all this? Targets down the shield battery, and that opens up the opportunity to take out the Phoenixes. Where are the Adepts? They're going towards the front. A single Colossus comes out? Well, I guess that makes sense. How many gateways? Only 3 of them. So Cure ends up picking up. They'll expect some... Ooh. And the medevac goes down with all hands. Nightmare loses 5 probes, but Cure loses 2 medevacs, 17 Marines. The Reaper died earlier, and a Widow Mine. 5 probes and a Phoenix, I think, is a pretty solid trade for Nightmare. A bit of a steal, actually. +1 infantry weapon's about to complete. And he stims to kill the pylon, which is actually going to soften up those Marines potentially. He picks up both the Marauders and, well, the Marines, one way or another. A bunch of gateways in the main. The drop heads in. Here we go again. Round and round we go. And this time, well, the Colossus comes back around via the... Did he go back via the Reaper Cliff? I don't think he can. Just targeting down probes. The Marines just ignoring the laser giraffe here in favor of dealing with the probes. And honestly, I think these ones were kind of worth it. Gets another Phoenix knocked out of the sky. And yeah, I think that one paid for itself. He killed a dozen probes. He got a few more Phoenixes. And now Nightmare is actually behind on workers. Cure does have a 3rd command center done. And Cure... Well, what time is it, Cure? Drop a clock? Yes, very clever. Charge on the way. Making his best diamond Terran impression of... You know, it's very scary to just walk across the map when you could fly in medevacs. What could go wrong? Cure is actually probably the most common player to find himself trapped in the back corner of the base, slowly dying to 1 Phoenix. Oh my god. Okay, he had the surround on the observer there. But a bit risky to continue such a committed strategy. Cure realizing it. He's done so much damage, just sitting back and building up his 3rd. Could very well be a strong play. But Nightmare realizes, does he have extended thermal lance? Yes. And nothing else. That's the only upgrade right now. I think he spotted the Widow Mine on the ground there, though he doesn't have detection to deal with it. Is he really gonna... He's just gonna give up the Adept. That's the most expeditious way of doing it, but a half dozen more Widow Mines or so burrow. Those are not so charged lots, but 2 seconds out. Couple Vikings. The Phoenixes antsy to fight them, but those Widow Mines zoning out for now. Charge lots looking for an opportunity. Cure has a slight army advantage. Another Adept sacrifice, probably the best usage of Adepts at this stage of the game when their range is too short to be effective in a large ball of units, and they're not so great getting into melee either. So the Adepts are just kind of in a purgatory situation at this stage, especially without glaives, where they're just costlier zealots that do less. Another Widow Mine hits. Phoenixes are taken out as the Viking count grows. Blink is not done, so he can't just jump in front, but he might be able to target down the orbital command. At least the Colossi, easily distracted creatures they are, will focus some on it. Not the premier target here, though. 2-2 on the way for Cure, who now has a 20 supply lead. He's been working with that 3-base economy, and with a few mules, been able to grind out even more units. Zoning turrets. Nightmare still sitting on Cure's side of the map, waiting for an opportunity, or going to create that opportunity with a Warp Prism into the main. Adept at the front. Cure now has to split his forces. A big warping of Zealots as well. Couple Widow Mines in front, just gonna eat the hits here. Vikings moving into position. A bunch of charge lots will actually slow down the Ghost Academy, may even kill it. The Vikings are chasing things down over the top here. Immortal going to be taken out, chased down. The Stalkers don't even have Blink yet. They just finished it. Loses 1 Colossus, takes out a Viking in turn. A Nightmare is forced back by the sheer weight of these Marauders. It's not bio weight, it's biomass. All right. That's what we're cultivating here. But Observer will see all of this. Nope, that's not an Observer. That's an Adept. I just kind of assumed. Not nearly as effective. or well hidden, but the Adept does its job. Nightmare warps in another round of Zealots, easily gunned down by the bio, which is mostly Marauders. 29 Marauders and 22 Marines right now. He knows where his biscuit is buttered. And 2-2 is about to complete. The bio ball is rolling across the map. And what does Nightmare have to respond to it? Some danger balls of his own. 4 disruptors on the field. 19 charge lots. Cure picks up for reasons unknown. Looks like he's heading towards the natural. Disruptor's dangerous on defense. The Stalkers will blink and try to zone out. Disruptor shots, and actually Cure walled in by the Robo Bay. A surprisingly good situation here as Cure not able to use Nightmare's setup against him. In fact, it actually works out, but the 4th base is under fire and the bio ball is just ripping through it right now. He should be able to take it out. The Vikings are zoning out the Colossi. Archon underneath, not going to be nearly enough to intimidate that much bio. Vikings trying to kite back. Several of them go down. Cure with a couple empty medevacs boosting shamefully back home. Meanwhile, the charge lots are trying to chase down the bio. 147 to 150 or so supply. Nightmare has closed the gap, but Cure still maintains a severe upgrade advantage. +2/+2 with 3/3 on the way against just +1 attack. But the Disruptors don't care how good your armor is. They'll incinerate it either way. Purification Novas, the great equalizer. Unless they miss everything, in which case it equals 0. Again, equals 0. 0 for 2. Shaq at the free throw line. 4th, Command Center is landing for Cure. Nightmare intimidating Cure, but not quite hitting him with the Disruptors yet. Well, he did okay back at home, but Cure is sitting back, and this gives the initiative to Nightmare, and that's what Disruptors thrive on. They're not so great on defense. You miss a shot, that's possibly the game. But you have a little time to fall back. And the best opportunity for Disruptors is as you slowly retreat your way across the map and leave a trail of explosive breadcrumbs like it's the Martyrdom perk in Call of Duty. Well, we'll see. The Colossi just tiptoeing back home. Not even bothering with this fight right now. Just going to keep them on defense. Couple Widow Mines trying to deal with them. The Disruptors are coming up, which is a bit of a disproportionate response, but it may be exactly what he needs. Slams a shot home. Curves into another Marauder. A casual Observer taken out in the spot the Adept once was. See, it was a good spot. Another Observer. How many Observers? He's down to 1. He's lost 2, so not too many. That robo time is precious, but Nightmare, not so suddenly, has a 20 supply lead. Here, only 63 workers overall. Has he lost SCVs? He lost 7 of them. But he's been so focused. A full recall here from Nightmare. I think slightly out of vision. And Cure is panicking. Cure is trying to figure out how to engage this army. The army's gone. I'm not sure if that was a necessary move, but he wanted to join up. There's 6 Archons in the mix now. The Ghost kind of out in front. Land a couple EMPs before they go down. Colossi zoning out. The Vikings nowhere to be seen. And without them, the Colossi are a real danger to this bio ball. 3-3 about to complete, though. And this is a very dangerous time for the Protoss army. You're maxed out. But if you don't land the Disruptor shots and the EMPs start washing across, well, this is an army that can evaporate quickly if Nightmare isn't careful. Thankfully, you don't earn the nickname the Surgeon without being at least a little careful. Nightmare blinks forward. Eats a Widow Mine hit. The Observer spotted this. The Observer knows where the army is going. Yeah, Nightmare's Observer is paying off dividends here. I guess it's not too expensive, but still. That's a good thing either way. Couple exploratory shots. The most dangerous force fields. How long on recall? We still got about 40 seconds. Which, are we going into a base trade? Nightmare can't even warp in at home. He's got too many units on this side. Cure's helping him out with that. The planetary isn't dying. All right, finally goes down. A bunch of the medevacs will die immediately. But Cure splits his forces and knocks out 2 bases simultaneously. This is Cure's wheelhouse right here. He's going to base trade a Terran. The oldest adage. Well, there's a lot of them. But when in doubt, make DTs. Don't base trade a Terran. All right, don't start a land war. Well, really against Terran either, historically. But right now, Cure has 0 minerals, which is not very many. And Nightmare is busting down the door. But at the same time, Cure has taken out yet another Nexus. Nightmare has brought his probes across the map. And the defining characteristic of all this, I think Cure canceled some of his production. So he does have a little bit of money, but not nearly enough for another command center, if that becomes relevant. Nightmare will rebuild on Cure's side of the map. Already preparing. He's got the disruptors to bust through. There's no liberators here. There's only one Viking. The disruptors in an enclosed space are a deadly enemy. Nightmare building mass cannons, because both players are supply blocked right now. The main base is still intact, but really not that relevant. He needs to win the fight. Oh, some of the probes are transferring down. Cure's decided to just leave the army on the other side of the map. The probes! Oh no, he right-clicked on the minerals! Oh no! That's actually gonna give some of this away. The probes were trying to go back and return their minerals to the nearest nexus, which unfortunately is the main. I don't know if Nightmare realized that Cure still had a full army in the base. Disruptor shot. Well, there's no way to get down this ramp. You can't recall his Terran. Their one weakness. I guess he could. Oh my. Well, that wasn't ideal. The disruptor shot's taking massive chunks. And Cure getting his chin bashed here. It's not enough yet for him to tap it out. The supply is 122 to 125. Cure's actually in the supply lead. But Nightmare will be mining. Technically, Cure could be mining again as well, as he has 17 SCVs and 2 command centers. In fact, Cure technically has more bases than Nightmare does right now. A scan from one of those few orbital commands. He's scoured. There's a spylon that survived to the north side. Oh my god, Cure picks up. He's getting out of the base. They'll expect some of us. Oh no. The SCV's trying to protect the ghost. Nightmare actually misclicked for a moment. The ghost dies dramatically. They don't know any other way. The production tab is useless. There's still the 7 disruptors on the field. 99 supply in army. 1 SCV for Cure. Where is it? Is it just kind of casually with the... Oh my god, it's the SCV at 1 hit city. 1 probe hit. He scans the base. Nightmare is mining. That's still 7 disruptors. Cure has killed 0 disruptors this game, which is a devastating problem. The disruptor volleys are absolutely excruciating. In fact, Cure doesn't even bother. Annihilated in that fight. Eventually, Nightmare reaches the inevitable conclusion, and Cure is unable to reach checkmate there as Nightmare escaped from his grasp, and he never found a way to fight the disruptors. Nightmare takes game 1, which brings us to our breakdown. Overall, Cure has won over 2/3 of the games that these two have battled in the past. But honestly, historically, up until the last 6 months or so, Nightmare was struggling to break into the top 50 players overall. But he's kind of hit his stride. He found his style, which is this technical Protoss. And Cure, pretty clearly, is not so interested or even capable necessarily of fighting it. So, we go into an even more creative map. Game 2 will be on Amphion. What are you doing? Are you... Oh, he's scouting for proxy rags. Yeah, I don't blame him on that. This map does have a few express Reaper jump points. They even cut the barbed wire for him on it. Well, a pretty decisive victory for Nightmare, despite... Well, it was Cure kind of I wonder how much Nightmare wanted to go into the base trade and how much he just kind of accepted it, because Kira was clearly not interested in fighting. Nightmare had the Observer over the army. The 2/3 of the army that was sent to the north and ended up base trading. Nightmare knew where it was going, and he decided to go into the base trade anyways. Which conventional wisdom says, not a great idea. But it appears Nightmare was confident. And when you have disruptors against not liberators, or siege tanks, but liberators are... Is he gonna take a hidden third? That's cute. In the corner of the map here, here's gonna do a 3 base in possibly the last scouted location. I guess maybe there's the mixed gold and blue mineral base over to the 3 o'clock, but it's not so far out of the way that, like, it's so far away from Nightmare's base. It's the furthest base away that even if he wants to attack it, Kira could probably defend it. Or he could just lift it and move it over to the 3rd if it gets scouted. So I actually really like this move. Maybe gets an economic edge instead of relying on just a better unit composition. So I'm pretty sure that is a Reaper wall. Though technically he built a Reaper wall last time. We saw that worked out. This one seems like, yeah, the pylon. Fun fact, pylons are approximately 2 times the size of an average chain link fence. Now, why is there a random chain link fence with barbed wire on this, like, Xel'Naga temple? You know what? I'm not sure the consistency and lore. This is actually like some resort that turned into a war zone. There's, like, surfboards. And it seems like we're on some sort of island resort. It's markedly less violent than average vacations, but Kira is going to use this to go into Mass Marines. A classic Terran strat. Nightmare actually suspicious he's building a shield battery. He's wondering if this is some big, like, 3 rags play. And it is a big barracks play. But not at the timing he expects. And Nightmare is actually kind of over-defending here. Assuming that he scouted everything. This is the kind of thing that these hidden bases work so great at the lowest and the very highest levels of StarCraft 2. Because at the lowest levels, nobody scouts. And even if they do, let's be honest, do you know what you're seeing? If you see a base in a corner, you go for it, like, is that really going to be a worthwhile investment of your time? You know they haven't built SCVs for the last 3 minutes. They're building battle cruisers. But at the highest level, when players are so perfectly efficient, and bases like this are so risky and easily dealt with, like, the amount of risk compared to the potential reward, both are very high, but I'd say the risk is even higher. But somewhat less so for Terran because their bases can fly, but still. That's why we don't usually see it, especially on standard maps, because it's just almost incidentally scouted much of the time. But Kira choosing it here could very well be a deciding factor. But that little Reaper cliff, fun thing about it, also very nice for the Blink Stalkers. Nightmare? Well, that scouting get wet. Billy? Billy? Why did you name yourself Billy anyways? Doesn't even get the scouting depot. The Chew Toy there, doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Distracting any unit that comes in, and of course scouting that exact location. Kira uses the same tactic very often against Terrans. Observer coming around. And it looks like Nightmare pretty happy to end up in the same sort of unit composition as last game. Sure, he doesn't have the Phoenixes to start, but he's going to end up with 2 base Colossus and Thermal Lance, only now taking his 3rd Nexus after he already got all his infrastructure together. So the deciding factor here will be whether or not Kira's extra base gives him the bonus momentum, the kind of unexpected explosion of units, and Nightmare gets overwhelmed. As you have to see, he's dropping all his mules there. Mining it out first is in his best interest, keeping as many minerals fresh in his main base and natural as he can. We'll see, the observer is following the army. Colossi not quite done with extended thermal lance, but almost there. Marine Marauder trundling forward. Cure does have the supply lead. Ghost Academy and Armory on the way. Blinks out just in time. Extended thermal lance is complete. More prism loaded up. Nightmare. Well, he has perfect vision of all this. He's got the observer. Pretty sure Cure is aware of it. It's almost implied. You have to assume there's an observer nearby against a Protoss of this caliber. So even if he doesn't see it, he has to work under the assumption that most of his moves will be scouted if he doesn't actively scan. Nightmare just sitting back. Cure now mining off those 4 bases. He has a comfortable economic lead. So this is great for him, but at the same time, Nightmare doesn't know. So Nightmare is playing this relatively safe, but I think not knowing at this point is actually helping Nightmare. Because Cure is not using this for like some sort of massive tech switch or something like that, he's just essentially building a little bit more of the same stuff he usually would. So if Nightmare sat back and defended, he may get picked apart. But in putting himself out on the map, he forces Cure to respond to him. And might be able to take back the initiative without even realizing the economic deficit he's in. Kind of a placebo effect sort of economic situation here. If you don't know how much less money you have than the other player, does it matter? All right. And of course, knowing about that extra base. Hey, well, what are you doing over there? That's one way to scout things. Ah, he gets it. Cure is maxed out at 9 minutes with 2-2 on the way. He's got 74 SCVs. He's got 8 barracks done, starport factory, all the upgrades, even more bases. He's got everything you could want as a Terran at this stage of the game. Disruptors, point blank range. Does not connect. And that is the dream. The Marauder could get targeted. Shield battery overcharged though. More disruptors, point blank. Targets 1, targets 2. 4 for 4 in canceling the shot so far. Meanwhile, another engagement. Charge lots chasing down to the right side. The shield battery overcharged though, saving the day and keeping Nightmare intact. And Cure was busy microing on this side, so he just pulled back with the army on the right. And Nightmare actually manages to warp in, but the sheer tide of Terran continues to roll across the map. +2 attack about to complete. Ghosts on the field. Nightmare actually sending those units towards the 3rd base, ignoring 2 bases out of Cure, because he doesn't even realize they exist. Which is certainly one way to do it. A Ghost may go down. Cure forced to micro back and lose a lot of SCVs at what could be considered by the innocent bystander Nightmare his 3rd. And may incidentally scout another base as well. No, he won't, because he's recalling out of that location. Nightmare recalls out, but he doesn't actually micro the recall to He didn't pick the 4th Nexus to recall to, which means even though he tried to come back to defend, it's going to go down either way, and Cure will maintain the momentum. He loses 16 SCVs, but he's building 5 at a time, which, if my math is correct, means he has at least 5 command centers. Like and subscribe for more big math tips.
The numbers don't lie.
A 5-6 medevac drop changes course after the scout. Well, he's just gonna drop on top of the Colossi here. EMP at point blank range, shield battery overcharge, knocks out 1 Colossus, the 2nd one gonna be brought low as well. But not even all the units were able to drop out. Cure, dropping his own supply, picks up into a medevac, immediately dies. But he's willing to send more and more across the map. He's already lost 2,500 more minerals. About the same amount of gas, as Marines don't cost too many. But Nightmare now has a similar army to the game ender last time. Cure just keeps picking up, and he keeps headed towards the main. A hallucinated Phoenix spots all of this. Nightmare still doesn't know about the 2 extra bases, nor, I think, does he care. The fact he hasn't scouted them is working heavily in his favor right now, as he thinks he's up against a 3-base all-in Terran, and he's making that happen. Well, here we go again! Oh no. Another base trade where Cure's going to be quartered into his main by disruptors at the natural. There's some Archons back here to deal with everything. The forges are depowered. Nightmare not responding directly. He busts down the door with a battering ram of disruptors, but he fired every shot. Did he fire 3 shots or did he fire 4? No, we could look and see. EMPs come through. Force field holds the door for now. Down goes the engineering bay. Main base cleaned up. The medevacs picked up, go to the 3rd. Takes out ship weapons level 2. Disruptors have recharged. Cure caught on the ramp, direct hit. And once again, he's caught by the most dangerous force fields. Nightmare still doesn't know about the extra bases. Cure just keeps sending units across the map. He's not going to have +3 done. +2 weapons is not going to finish for Nightmare either. He's base trading, but he doesn't even know where all the bases are. Oh no, a recall! Oh no! It's canceled. It's denied at the last second. And another drop towards the main. Well, that one's not going to happen. Picks it up. Archons! Well, their stubby little energy arms aren't going to be enough. Another drop. He's just sniping Nexus's. Nexus's eyes. Left, right, and center. Shield battery overcharge. Tries to pat it on the back, but the spine is broken. The Nexus is down. And, well, picks up some of it. Cure all over the place right now. Trying to find the antidote to Protoss with anything but Liberators. And he flies into the units he just flew away from and is gonna lose 2.5 medevacs full of units. Gets them all. It's a bit... well... Nightmare, in Nightmare's vision, Cure's on 1 base. You know, maybe he has this one over here. He hasn't really scouted that in a while. But... oh no! Oh my god! This is... what you don't know can very much hurt you. Alright. It might not come over across the map and beat you across the face, but it'll certainly fund the forces who will. 4 command centers in production for Cure, which is a combination of hubris, disrespect, and confusion, I think. He's not supply blocked. He doesn't need this many commands. He's trying to replace them. He still hasn't seen... oh my god. I know Dark isn't in this match right now because Nightmare is in it. Nightmare is in the dark. Okay. There's only awkward ways to transition from here for both myself and Nightmare, who's just now realized that Cure has this base. Both players are reestablishing. Nightmare has 3 Nexi in production. Cure has 4 command centers. From the ashes, they will rebuild, as they both still have plenty of minerals and gas. This base trade took place before even the main base was mined out. Just going at it right now. Oh, but the army, disruptor shot, will chase a Widow Mine, clips a Marauder as well. Wow. No, Cure. No, Cure. Why? How many people are controlling? Is Cure playing Archon mode? Does the left hand know what the right hand is doing? As the medevacs just kind of passing each other, he scans the main, which kind of telegraphs this move. Cure's also coming in. An observer is tracking the army to the south. Problem is, the base actually works again. There's a couple EMPs in there. The Marauders are going to work. It's 2-2 for either side right now. The Colossi in purgatory where they can be targeted, though a lot of Marines are going down as well. Cure is fighting Archon's heads up. Well, he's losing his head about it. And the medevacs will get gunned down as Cure. A titanic mistake as his medevacs fall into the sea. But Cure still has so much What is this? Nightmare. Just do it. Fire it blind. Crouching Raptors! 1, 2! Make it 3! All 3 shots land, and just like that, the 20 supply lead becomes a 20 supply deficit. The Blink Stalkers come in. He picks off the Raptors, but at the end of the day, he loses the medevacs, and Cure is wiped from the field. Every single medevac outside his base, so he loads up 3 more. What are you doing? The People's Terran can't stop the drop. And here we go again. A base trade. But Cure, he has more command centers than he has production facilities at this point. He's got 7 command centers and 7 barracks. He's gonna lose +3 weapons again. He's building more barracks. Not anymore. The main base. Most of the army is here. Well, in both main bases, boxed in. Deja vu. We've just been in this place before, like 2 different times. But this time around, Nightmare, once again. How many Raptors? Where are the Raptors? There are 2 disruptors. Found him. Tier plummets. Under 100 supply. Oh my god. Again. Cure's greatest nightmare. The Disruptor. Nightmare finds this base with no minerals. And may finally realize what has happened here. But in the end, did it even matter? Nightmare with a decisive 2-0 victory against Cure, who absolutely refuses to do anything but send medevacs to their doom. Nightmare keeps his cool, holds it together, and brings it home. Well, that brings us to our anti-spoiler match. Yes, another match from Gumiho versus Hero. A series that was remarkably short, but also quite creative, as you might expect from those 2 artists. But Nightmare with a decisive... One more time. Can we... Overcoming, I believe, the odds. I don't know if I want to show the odds from Maligulak. But the odds were over 75% of Cure winning a best of 3. Maybe... I don't know if that was 2-0 or in general, but... So, a huge... maybe not the biggest, but a significant upset here today. As Nightmare takes down Cure. But... Gumiho against Hero. This is from the same series as our anti-spoiler game the other day. We may eventually see the entire series, as Gumiho versus Hero is always something a bit different. But like and subscribe if you like the anti-spoilers. And if you tuned out already, well, it didn't matter, so... Hopefully you guys... I don't know what I expected from that series. Nightmare versus Cure. We'll have a moment here to reflect. But... Oh, Cure. The People's Terran. Yeah, my Terran friends out there. They have friends, alright? Contrary to popular belief. Aren't disruptors the worst? Cure thinks so, too. Cure would rather be microing medevacs with Marines and Marauders. Be like Cure. Well, actually, there's not too many Terrans really shining a light on. Gumiho. Alright. Gumiho and sometimes Clem right now. It seems we're in that phase of Terrans where we've decided to just use the same unit compositions and strategies from 2011 and see if they still work today. And they do, just not as well. Gumiho, of course, has been adapting since that time. He's not gone for an early expand, but he is expanding, using it as a wall-off. Hero, on the other hand, sending the probe across Hanging out with the Adept. Did he see this was a reactor? He didn't. But awkwardly with the reactor, that means there's actually not going to be any units to deal with this. He may try to delay. Nope. Hero's gonna build a pylon on the bottom of the ramp. Not yet. Can he? Oh. He's blocking the expansion with a cyber core. And the reason you pick a cyber core is because you don't care about it finishing. A cyber core has more HP than a gateway, and it builds faster. So, if you, for some Tassadar forsaken reason, want to block a Terran's command center from landing, this is more relevant in PvP. Oh my god, he's got so many hurt SCVs, which managed to slip away. Wait, where are there some? What is going on? Why are there adepts in the main? The cyber core is canceled at the last moment. The SCVs, wait, okay. 4 SCVs are dead. There's a pylon still blocking the base. Okay. I'm sorry. Will Gumiho move his command center, or does he not care? Wait, is it even off center? It's off center, right? Like 87% sure. Yeah, it's off. He's gonna wait for the. Yep. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. If you look at it for long enough, then maybe. Oh, there's an adept. Oh, that was just the shade. He may get the mule that just dropped, which is actually a... No, he missed! Ah! He missed again! Oh my gosh. Wow. Certainly a different sort of game. Phoenix is coming across. It feels like one of those, like... We see this a lot with Dark as well. Gumiho too. Hero's another one in that category of drunken brawler players, where they're very good, but fully willing to get down into the dirt and roll around. Kira versus Nightmare was slightly different. That looked like two guys who just came home from, like, two guys who went to the bar after a long day of work at the office and got upset at each other over something that happened at work that was a small slight, but they can't handle their alcohol very well, so now it's a big deal, and they start trying to fight, but they're not very good at it. And that's kind of what that looked like. And then at work, they pretend it didn't happen the next day. Or something like that, theoretically. But Gumiho versus Hero is, this is a professional street brawl right here. If such a thing, well, if we're to exist. It's like an anime fight. Somehow they keep hitting each other, but nobody takes any damage. Actually, Gumiho's down 13 workers. But he has mules, it's fine. In comes the Raven. Just taking a look around. Gonna put some auto turrets where the shield battery is not. Which is most of the places, actually. Gonna get some probe kills. The Phoenixes come back and kill the Raven. Nevermore, they say. Hero's taking a third. I have no... He's getting Storm. Which is kind of crazy to be getting at this stage of the game. He's gone from Phoenixes, from an adept cyber core block at the natural, to Phoenixes, to Storm, in 7 minutes. And that's like it, though. He has... That's like all of his units. He has 5 Zealots, a Stalker, and a Sentry, besides his Phoenixes and Templar. So if he loses this Prism, he loses the game. Assuming he doesn't get a bunch of Storms off on the Marines, obviously. Hero does seem to have a lot riding on those prisms, though. on a regular basis. A cyclone drive-by. Sure. He has charge, right? Yeah. There are 7 gates done. So this should be a very dangerous force out of hero here. Yeah, oh, that's a conspicuous prism. Look on the Templar, there's the storm. All over everything. Yeah, well, this is going quite poorly for Gumiho. Oh, he's super dead. Yeah, well, it just kind of ends. Heroes, good old-fashioned adept into pylon and the everything else build. Throws it in there, takes it home, and brings us to an abrupt yet somewhat exciting conclusion that didn't require multiple ridiculous base traits. But it wouldn't be nearly as much fun or as much time out of the day if we didn't have it. So Nightmare with a decisive victory over Cure. Hero taking one over Gumiho there. I'm not sure what to call that one, but the drama continues. Either way, I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made your day a little bit better. I know this was a bit all over the place, but hopefully sometimes you like it that way. Either way, if you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon, YouTube membership. Your liking and subscribing is still free for now, though. If you haven't yet checked out the second channel, Winter Gaming TV, you can find it in the description, or, you could type it in, which, I mean, that's pretty hard, though. Sorry. Wrap it up. I know. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill. Just edit it out. Every time, just edit it.